Hello, America. I am Franklin Delano Roosevelt, your President of the United States, and welcome to my 7th Fireside Chat. I'm here today to talk to you and instill in you a sense of confidence that I feel has been greatly diminished in the past couple months. As I once stated before, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We, as America, have the ability to come together, to unite, and work together to solve the negative effects that the Great Depression has had on our collective society. We need to make a conscious effort to steer clear of what caused the Great Depression to begin with. The most severe causes being unequal distribution of wealth, the banking crisis, and the farm sector crisis. While I would say that part of the poor distribution of wealth stemmed from the federal government, I would say that American society played a bigger part in this. Our society made a collective decision to forcibly push the African American population away from opportunities that they deserve just as much as anyone else. Even before the Great Depression, the continuous economic downfall of African Americans was perpetually ignored by the majority of the white population. The sheer poverty in the South, which mainly affected the African American population, was not of importance to the advancing industrial North. The economic inequality was thriving off of the stigma that whites were clearly superior to blacks in every way. The gap between the rich and the poor was increasingly growing, which helped perpetuate the stigma that blacks did not deserve the same economic or political rights as whites. Such a drastic and unequal distribution of wealth led to an increased number of health and social problems, a majority of them largely aimed toward the African American population. While this stemmed from society, the federal government is not to escape blame. The federal government did not make a large enough effort to provide equal working opportunities for African Americans, and they also did not fight adequately enough to gain political equilibrium. To combat this false distribution of wealth, I have instituted several New Deal programs that will aim to provide jobs and relief to everyone in all aspects of society. Just two of these programs being the Federal Emergency Relief Act, which will give financial aid to the poor while also supporting both local and federal relief programs, and the CCC, or the Civilian Conservation Corps, which will give unemployed young men jobs working on rural and park improvements. However, this in and of itself is just a beginning. What perpetuated the economic downfall of now all the races was the banking crisis. We will be right back after a short commercial break. Are your crops as thirsty as mine are during this drought season? Well, lucky for you, I have something that will keep you from ever being thirsty again. Coke, the biggest and best new drink out there. Take a sip of this and you'll never be thirsty again. Welcome back. To repeat what I was saying before the break, the economic downfall of now all the races was perpetuated by the banking crisis. Every single one of our national banks was rendered incapable of keeping up with the massive amount of withdrawals that the frantic American population was trying to make. As a result, I was forced to declare a 3-day national banking holiday. During this holiday, the federal government and I worked together to preserve the integrity of American capitalism, increase public belief in the ability of the government to face the problems of the Great Depression head-on, and set up a foundation that strengthened the American banking system more adequately for the future. Nevertheless, what took part in initiating the banking crisis was the farm sector crisis. Farmers across the nation took out massive loans from banks because of the high demand for wheat and corn during World War I. However, in the years following the conclusion of the war, the demand and need for these staple crops significantly decreased. This rendered the farmers incapable of paying back the loans they previously took out from the bank. Farmers tried to solve this problem by overproducing in order to gain even just a little profit. However, this served to be useless, as in the end it caused a dust bowl, because the farmers were using too much land in a short period of time, not allowing enough time for the grass to grow over and protect the nutrient-rich topsoil. As a direct result of the Dust Bowl, farmers had to spread out and use land that did not have as many nutrients as the land they used to farm on. This led to a stunt in crop growth and forced the farmers to lay off a lot of workers because the agricultural business was becoming less and less lucrative. The farm sector crisis caused a big problem in the United States as it took part in the increasing labor shortage as well as the increased price in consumer goods. Part of the New Deal deals with combating the negative effects that the farm sector crisis burdened America with. Two specific programs that deal with helping solve the farm sector crisis include the AAA, Agricultural Adjustment Act, which introduced new procedures that would help to reduce the unnecessary crop supply and stabilize prices in order to better support farm incomes, and the SCA, Soil Conservation Act, which helped to build and provide protection for soil and agricultural land in the future. as well as providing more plentiful water service to farmers across the nation, but specifically in the areas greatly affected by the Dust Bowl. To sum up the New Deal, the three main aspects of it include relief, providing direct aid to the poor and unemployed; reform, fixing the economy and creating new jobs to restart the flow of consumer demand; and recovery, in which new programs will be created to help prevent another depression like this from happening again in the future. In conclusion, I am hoping to implement more aspects of my New Deal in the next few years. But I will not be able to do this without the help of you, America. I need every single one of you listening to step up and become an active part of combating the Great Depression. I need you to be willing to accept the changes that the New Deal will have in society as well as the economy, and be willing to work together with your neighbors, despite their race or cultural background. Thank you.